ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your patience. I'm just having some technical difficulties or challenges with some of the equipment, but it was worked on last night and was worked on this morning. There still is a challenge, but we're going to have to go forward, and at a break, there will be a chance to look at it, but we still have live people that you can listen to, and that's what we're going to proceed with. If Mr. Blackburn is here, would you have Mr. Blackburn return to the witness stand? Come on back up, Mr. Blackburn. You'll be sworn in again since it's a new day.
Yes, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you should give to the court today should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may lower your hand. You may be seated, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you would, please state and spell your name for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Brady Blackburn, B-R-A-D-Y, B-L-A-C-K-B-U-R-N.
Mr. Blackburn, I just have a few more questions for you, sir.
Absolutely.
Let me show you, first off, what I have marked as,
You may.
Defendant's Exhibit number 8, and ask if you recognize what that document is, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Clay, were you on, I thought you were on D7 yesterday. Did I miscount? If I miscounted, that's my error.
I'll come back to 7.
No, that's fine. I just want to make sure that's where we were on D7.
That is
but-
correct, Judge.
All right, no problem. We're on D8. You may proceed. Defense aid.
Yes, sir. And what is exactly Defendant's Exhibit number 8, sir?
This is a printout of the stay detail for Andrea Sneiderman's stay the first time, and this is the tab stay information.
And would that cover the dates from July 18th of 2010 until July 21st, 2010?
It does, sir.
Would that document be kept in the regular course of business by the Longmont Hampton Inn and by the Hilton Corporation?
Yes, sir.
Would entries be made at the time that a transaction occurs or within a reasonable time thereafter?
This would be a printout showing the overall stay. The
Okay.
updates would be under stay history.
Would that document be generated at or about the time of the actual stay itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would that document be generated at the beginning of the stay or at the end of the stay?
This one appears to be the end of the stay because probably the end of the stay.
And that would be on the 21st, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that document similar to the document that we examined and looked at yesterday, Defendant's Exhibit number 6, detailing the stay from July 21st to July 23rd?
Yes, sir. Similar.
Okay.
Different confirmation number.
Your Honor, at this time, I would move for the admission of Defendant's Exhibit number 8.
Any objection? No, sir. Let me say, you said similar but a different confirmation number?
Correct. This is for a different stay. So,
No, I'm still good. I mean, go ahead and explain. You said,
yes, sir. There are two different reservations, one from the 18th to the 21st and one from the 21st to the 23rd.
all right.
And because they're different reservations, they have different confirmation numbers.
It will be allowed in, the state has no objection. You may continue.
Okay, Mr. Williams, would you, at this time, publish what has previously been identified as and admitted as State's Exhibit number 6, which is 6543 in the 8 system is what I understand it to be. You want me to move ahead while we're waiting, Judge?
Oh, no, something was on the screen. I was just,
That was not the document.
okay.
That was not the document in question. I'm waiting to get to a document that is marked at the bottom page at 006543.
It's complete. Let me you, sir.
Okay, I will move ahead in the interim while he's organizing that. Okay. Sir, may I approach again?
You may.
Okay, let me show you what has been marked as Defendant's Exhibit number 7 and ask if you recognize what that document would be, sir.
Yes, sir.
And what is Defendant's Exhibit number 7?
That's a receipt, sir.
Okay, and is that a receipt that was generated by the Hampton Inn and the Hilton hotel chain?
It appears so, yes.
Okay. And does it cover a particular time, sir?
It does.
And is the name Andrea Sneiderman listed on that particular document?
It is.
Would that receipt be generated at or near the time of the actual stay of Andrea Sneiderman at that hotel?
It would have been, yes. Yes, sir.
And would that receipt be kept in the regular course of business?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach, let me tender into evidence defendant's exhibit number 7 at this
Any
time.
objection, D7?
No, sir.
D7 is admitted without objection. You may publish it to the jury.
I will in a moment, Your Honor.
You may, take your time.
And let me just get to defendant's exhibit number 9. Let me show you that as well, sir. What is defendant's exhibit number 9?
It is another receipt, sir.
Okay. And again, is that generated by the Hilton hotel chain doing business as the Longmont Inn in Colorado, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would that receipt, does that have the name Andrea Sneiderman on it?
Yes, sir.
And are there dates on that particular receipt, sir?
Yes, sir.
And what are the dates that are on that receipt, State's exhibit number 9, or excuse me, defense exhibit number 9?
That would be July 18th, 2010 through July 21st, 2010.
Going back and looking at defense exhibit number 7, what would be the dates on that document, sir?
The 21st through the 23rd.
Okay. Now, at this time, are we ready to publish the documents to the jury? Well, let me just ask you this before we actually publish them to the jury.
Yes, sir.
First, take a look. You looked at, I believe, defense exhibit number 6, which was identified and admitted yesterday, sir, and that was the stay detail document from July 21st to July 23rd. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
That was in the name of Andrea Sneiderman, was it not?
Yes, sir.
It showed one person in the room, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it showed a queen-size bed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And looking at what would be defense exhibit number 8, that would be the stay detail from July 18th until July 21st. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, that shows the name of Andrea Sneiderman, correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, that document shows one person in the room, correct?
Yes, sir.
And again, that document shows a queen-size bed.
It does.
Okay. Now, looking at state or defense exhibit number 7, excuse me, the receipt, does that cover the period of July 21st through July 23rd?
Yes, sir.
And does that show also the name of Andrea Sneiderman on it?
It does.
Does it show the number of people staying in the room?
Yes, sir.
And is that one person?
Yes, sir.
And does it show a queen-size bed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And looking at the other document, which I believe would be defense exhibit number 9, is that another receipt which covers the period from July 18th to July 21st?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does that also contain the name of Andrea Sneiderman?
Yes, sir.
And does it show how many people were staying in the room?
Yes, sir.
How many people are listed on that document, sir?
One, sir.
And it is a queen-size bed?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I understood correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, the stay detail documents are created for the benefit of the hotel, is that correct?
Correct.
They are not provided to the customer, is that correct?
Correct.
But the receipts would be provided to the customer, correct?
Correct.
So defense exhibits number 6 and number 8, the stay detail documents are actually kept by the business, correct?
Correct.
But not given to Mrs. Sneiderman or any other guest.
Correct.
Whereas defense exhibits number 7 and number 9 would actually be given to the customer.
This is correct.
Okay. Now, are we ready to publish these documents at this time? Okay. If you could go, Mr. Williams, to 6543. And this would be defense exhibit number 6, I believe. See, I'm not an expert in technology by any stretch of the imagination, Your Honor. I will ask one or two more questions while we are waiting for the technology to arrive. At the time when Andrea Sneiderman was present at the hotel, sir, was your memory somewhat fuzzy?
Was it at the time?
Yes. Or was your memory subsequently fuzzy? Was your memory fuzzy at some point, either at the time when she was at the hotel or when you gave your initial statement to the police?
I can't recall if my memory was fuzzy at the time, sir.
We did talk yesterday about the statement that you had made to, I guess, Detective McManus with the Longmont Police.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you did indicate, and this was defense exhibit number 4, that this was in your handwriting. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May I approach you?
You may.
Look at, this is the last page of that particular statement. Just look at the top line.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if I could just have that back briefly, sir. Did you tell, or did you write in your statement that, and I don't want to misquote, the time during which Andrea stayed with us is fuzzy for me?
You want me to read that, sir?
Did you write that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you wrote that in March of 2011, correct?
Yes, sir.
So at the time when you wrote that statement, you were referring back to the period of time when Andrea Sneiderman had stayed at the hotel.
During her actual stay, yes.
Yes. So you indicated your memory, was your memory of that time fuzzy, or was your memory fuzzy during that time?
My memory of her actual stay was fuzzy because I didn't work. So I checked her in because I worked the weekend shifts.
Okay.
And so when she was actually staying during the week, I only worked on that Wednesday shift. I probably didn't actually, I don't know if I actually saw her. So that's what I was referring to. My memory of checking her in is quite clear.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that the only time you recall ever seeing her would have been when you checked her in on that, I guess, Sunday evening?
Specifically, yes.
Okay. Now, there was a document introduced by the state yesterday, State's Exhibit number 23. Well, let me get to this first. Your Honor, at this time we have published what I believe is Defense Exhibit number 6. May it be published to the jury?
Yes.
And
Sir.
can you, is there any way that Mr. Blackburn can show the number, where the number of adults would be in the room? Or can you do that, Mr. Williams?
I'm sorry, you asking the witness? You can ask.
I don't know, can the witness somehow use the machine to point to a particular direction, or should I
The witness
simply ask?
can, well, he can use his hand to point. I don't know if he,
Okay,
you want to use a,
okay,
It says right there under adults 1,
okay, and
children 0.
is the room type listed immediately above that?
It is.
Now, if we might publish next, Your Honor, Defense Exhibit number 8, which would be 6542.
you may,
Please do so, sir.
and that's D8. All right.
And again, would that be consistent with what has been identified today, sir, as Defense Exhibit number 8?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and again, it shows room type QX
SL.
XL, which is queen size, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it shows adults 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could we next go to page 6536?
And is that defense exhibit number 7, Mr. Clay?
That would correspond to actually Defendant's Exhibit number 9, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you. And 6546, Mr. Clegg, is that the base number?
It's the, I believe that is the base number, yes, Your Honor.
I believe, Mr. Clegg, your exhibit's
Okay.
on the screen.
And that is now on the screen, sir. Does that again show an area where you would determine how many folks stayed in the room?
Yes, sir.
And is that, there's a 1/0, would that be what we're talking about?
Yes, that would indicate 1 adult, 0 children.
And then on top is 203/QXSL, right?
Yes, sir. That's the room number and the room type.
And then what days do those encompass, sir?
The 18th of July through the 21st of July.
Okay. And sir, if you would then go to page 6537.
I'm sorry, Mr. Clay, that's the base number. What exhibit number?
The
is
base
that?
is a Defense Exhibit number 7, Your Honor.
Thank
I
you.
apologize.
No, no problem.
And is that number 7 there? And again, does it show one adult, no children?
Yes, sir.
And does it again show a queen-size bed?
Yes, sir.
And if I'm understanding correctly, it shows a different room number, correct?
Yes, sir.
So according to the records of the Hilton Hotel, it appears that Mrs. Sneiderman moved from one queen-size room to another queen-size room at some point, presumably, I guess, on the 21st. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last question, sir. Looking at what has previously been marked as State's Exhibit number 23, and the Bates number would be 6548. I believe that has been admitted. If you could pull that up, sir. You recognize that document, do you not, sir?
Yes, sir.
You testified concerning it yesterday, did you not?
Yes, sir.
There are the letters that appear, WTF am I supposed to do with this?
Yes, sir.
Was that something that you wrote?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the WTF was not written by someone else, it was written by you.
Yes, sir.
And this is a document kept in the regular course of business by the Hilton Hotel.
Yes, sir.
And you expected that document to be kept in the regular course of business by the Hilton Hotel.
Yes, sir.
I am presuming that WTF does not mean Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Is that correct?
Close, sir, actually. Almost there.
Okay. It means what the,
Well, ask me what it means.
well, what does it mean, sir?
It means what the fuck, sir.
Okay. And that was part of what you made sure was preserved in the business records of the Hilton Hotel.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. James, you may redirect if you wish.
Yes, sir. Well, Your Honor, if I may approach to retrieve
You may.
evidence from the witness. If I can beg the court's indulgence just
You
for a
may.
second, we're putting an exhibit up I want to ask him about on the screen. Okay, I want to ask you specifically about, and this is 23, correct? 23. I want to ask you specifically about State's Exhibit number 23. If you can enlarge that just a little bit. Can you read that line right under where it says MB 44797?
It is.
3630?
There's a box in front of it on my screen.
I don't know, can you see that?
Yeah, I can read that, all right.
Should be on both screens for you.
What would you like me to read?
Right there under the phone number, what does it say?
Newly married.
Okay. And right after Brady, what does it say?
Andrea Sneiderman's husband called for you to remind you what you were going to do for him / his wife.
Okay. So there was a note that said that they were newly married.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I was told over the phone as well.
Okay. You and opposing counsel were discussing the differences in between the record that you talked about yesterday on direct examination that detailed the changes or the things that you all did to the reservation.
Yes, sir.
And the record at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
Let's go a little bit deeper into that. What is this record, the record that you talked about yesterday, that detailed the activity by your company? What is that record? What's the nature of that record?
The record history is what it's called, is an automated record of changes that are made to a reservation. It's not prepared by an employee so much as it's prepared by the system automatically based on changes that the employees make to a reservation. Whereas the receipt is a record of charges that's given to a customer, a guest.
So if you make a notation in the system, the computer makes a record of it automatically.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you were testifying to yesterday?
Yes, sir.
So when there was a document that was put up the document in the hotel, State Exhibit number 24. could you enlarge where it says 2 people? So when you testified yesterday, based on this record, that you put down 2 people, that would have been captured as you actually put it down in this log, correct?
Yes, sir. It would have been captured in the record history.
Okay, in the record history. Now, why would there be a difference between what the computer was capturing contemporaneous to your action and the checkout history, what the defense has had you read where it says 1 person, 1 person, 1 person, 1 person? Why would there be a difference?
There could be many reasons for that.
Okay, give them to us.
All right. 2 that come immediately to mind would be a change. Well, something was changed along the way from 2 back to 1. And that could have been, you can see, particularly on the record history of the first reservation, that there's a lot of rate change information. And one of the things that's changed is the number of the rate according to number of people is changed, rate of number of guests upon arrival. And so anytime that rate information is being tinkered with, number of guests is taken into consideration. Sometimes, particularly with corporate rates, more people means you're paying more. And so in order to negate that, we either have to force sell it at the base rate or change the number of people in order to reflect the correct rate. So that's one possibility, is that in order to reflect the correct rate, the number of people was changed. Another possibility is that a guest came to the front desk and said, I need this receipt to express 1 person. And therefore, we would have changed it to 1 person. Or they came to the desk and said that we don't actually have 2 people in the room. Any order by the guest to change the receipt to 1 person would have been acknowledged and carried out.
Do guests get a receipt at checkout?
They get a receipt before checkout, actually. They get a receipt under their door the night before they check out, so they can check to make sure everything looks all right, to make sure their charges are all right, and that they agree to the balance that is finally listed, so that when they actually check out is when their credit card is charged.
So if a guest asks for information to be changed, it will be changed on the receipt?
Yes, sir. So we can change the information before they actually check out.
With that change, however, the activity log that you were testifying about yesterday, the computerized activity log that showed what you did when you checked somebody in, would that change that?
Could you rephrase the question?
When the guest checks out,
Yes, sir.
they ask for their payment information to be changed. If they're charged for 2 people as opposed to 1 person,
Yes, sir.
if the hotel complies, would that actually change the activity log, the document that you testified about yesterday?
Change in what way?
Would it change it from 1 person to 2 persons in the log? Would it go back and change what you did as it was happening?
I'm confused.
Okay, can you put up stage exhibit number 23 again? 24 again, sorry. What we have right here is what you testified to yesterday.
Yes, sir.
All right. My question specifically is, if a guest checked out and asked for their information to be changed on the receipt,
Yes, sir.
would the computer go back and change that number from 2 to 1 because they asked for this to be changed?
It may or may not actually be reflected in the record history because it's checked out. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So it may not.
It may not be recorded at the end of record history.
Are you certain that you checked 2 people into that room?
I'm certain that this record indicates that 2 people were indicated to be staying in the room.
And what's the only way that it could indicate 2 people to be staying in the room?
The person at the front desk changed it to 2 people.
Okay. And who was the person at the front desk when Ms. Sneiderman checked in?
Myself.
All right. And did you put 2 people in that room?
Yes, sir.
And what are the only reasons that you do that?
If I am told there are 2 people in the room, or if I see 2 people in the room.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did you see a second person, sir?
I'm sorry, was that?
Did you see a second person?
No, sir. Not to my specific memory.
Now, the reservation was changed from one person to two people on a Sunday evening, that is correct?
Yes, sir.
And that would have been on July the 18th, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it your understanding that that status from 1 to 2 would have been changed not for a future date, but immediately?
Yes, sir.
So the status was going to reflect that there were, as of July 18th, two people in the room, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, let me take a look briefly at State's Exhibit number 24. Okay, may I approach?
You may.
Okay. Looking at State's Exhibit number 24, there is apparently, you'll have to help me here, sir.
Sir.
Looking at this, an arrival listed as July 21st, departure of July 24th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that again is for Andrea Sneiderman, correct?
Yes, sir.
That is part and parcel of what is State's Exhibit number 24, correct?
What do you mean by part and parcel?
It's all part of one document. It's all part of State's Exhibit number 24.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, and it is the same sort of document you were simply referring to when Mr. James was asking you about it, correct?
Yes, sir, the record history.
Okay, and it shows on the 21st, one person in the room, right?
Actually, what you're looking at, sir, is a new reservation being made on July 20th of 2010 for one person.
For one person.
Yes, sir.
And that would have covered the period from July 21st to July 24th.
Correct.
So based on that document, what we've got is a situation where there appears to have been perhaps two people in the room from the 17th to the 21st, or from the 18th to the 21st, but only one person in the room from the 24th on, correct?
Yes, sir. Would you like an explanation?
You may explain your answer. Go ahead.
This is a new reservation, not a change of room. So a new reservation is being made by one of the front desk staff. And when a blank reservation is made, it automatically reverts to one person.
Okay. No one apparently asked that it be switched to two people, correct?
Correct. Not at the time of making the reservation.
It's my understanding that the only way it would reflect more than one person is if someone said, I want it to be for more than one person, or someone at the front desk saw the people checking in and said, there's obviously more than one person. I see two people, I'm putting down two people, right?
Correct.
Now, you agree when Andrea Sneiderman checked in, there was one person, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, have you been at any point on TV as a result of your involvement in this case?
It was...
Have you been interviewed on TV?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many times would you estimate you have done that, sir?
Once, sir.
When would that have been?
At the end of the last trial, sir.
Okay. Do you recall what show you would have been on, or who would have actually interviewed you?
Yes, sir.
And who was that, sir?
Are you speaking about the NBC?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I'm just asking you.
yes, sir. NBC Dateline.
Okay. And I have no idea how Dateline works. Do they pay you, or they
No, sir.
show up and interview you?
No, sir.
Okay. And how many times did they interview you? More than once? Or?
No, sir. Just once.
Just one time. All right. One moment, please.
You may.
Mr. Blackburn, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Does the state have any additional questions? No, sir. I don't know what that background was. I actually have some challenges with audio. Lawyers, any objection to Mr. Blackburn being released and excused from his subpoena? Do you want him to remain on subpoena?
No objection from being released.
We have no objection to its release.
So you're free to go have a good day, drive safely.
Thank you, sir.
Call your next witness.
They called Lindsey Clayton, Your Honor.
As long as the lawyers approach, you can approach the court reporter, Kelly Carpenter. She'll be off the record momentarily because she can do multiple things. But.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 11 Alive's continuing coverage of the Andrea Sneiderman trial, day 2 of the evidence portion of this trial. We saw the jurors last week, the selection thereof. We have Marcia Shine with us, the fine criminal defense attorney is with us. Marcia, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your take so far as we are about 35 minutes into this morning?
Well, they brought back the hotel clerk, and I think at this point they finished with him, and at this point I think he's done with what he's trying to accomplish. This prosecution is trying to accomplish a progressive showing that this is, in fact, leading up to an affair.
Is that what we will see for the remainder of this afternoon? Is a lot of, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful of some of the witnesses that are on the stand, but people that have kind of a small part in all of this, whether it's a hotel clerk, whether it is a human relations, a human resource officer, those kinds of very minute detail that sort of piece together the issue of infidelity.
Yes, that's what they're attempting to do at this point, develop individual pieces of information to create a symbol of the affair.
All right, we'll go back into the courtroom right now.
Reservation and stay information, are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us how the records are kept, and those particular records?
In our secure Hilton reservations on-queue system.
Okay. Can you tell us what the on-queue system is?
It's our reservation central hub for any Hilton reservations.
Is that on a computer?
Yes.
Okay. Does the general public have access to it?
No.
Do all Hilton employees have access to it?
Yes.
Okay. Are these records kept in the ordinary course of business?
Yes.
Okay. Back in 2010, were you asked to search for activity or a stay by someone by the name of Hemi Newman at your hotel?
No.
Okay. Have you ever searched to see if Hemi Newman stayed at your hotel?
Yes. Okay.
And when did you do that?
I do believe it was in 2011 when the investigator came.
Okay. And did you in fact search those records to see if Hemi Newman had stayed at your hotel?
Yes.
Okay. Did you search to see if he had stayed during the dates of July 18th and July 23rd specifically?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what you found when you searched to see if Hemi Newman had actually stayed at your hotel during this time period?
There was no reservation of that guest.
There was no reservation of that guest. Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Nothing further.
All right. Whose witness is this? Mr. Clegg? You may examine if you wish.
Mine, Your Honor.
I didn't hear you, sir.
It is my witness. I apologize, sir. It is my witness.
All right, you may proceed.
Yes. Did you ever come into contact with Mrs. Sneiderman yourself?
Yes.
And when was that, ma'am?
I switched her keys from a different... I switched her keys, gave her new keys on Wednesday evening.
And was she with anyone at the time when she changed her room?
No, I do not recall.
Okay. And did you have any personal contact with Mrs. Sneiderman other than that?
No.
Okay. Did you ever have any contact with anyone who identified himself to you as Hemi Newman?
No.
Did you testify in the previous trial regarding Mr. Newman's charges against him?
Yes.
Okay. Prior to that time, had you seen Mr. Newman?
No.
Okay. Had you ever, at the time when the police asked questions of folks out in Longmont, had you ever tried to look stuff up on the internet?
Excuse me, say that again?
Do you remember the police coming to question
Yes.
you back in, I suppose, March of 2011? You have to
Yes.
answer that loud, please.
Yes.
And were you aware at that time that the police were questioning other members of the staff as well?
No.
So you did not make any attempt to look anyone up on the internet, is that
No.
correct? Yep. When you obviously saw Mr. Newman when you testified in his trial in February of 2012, is that
Yes.
correct? Is that the only time you've ever seen him?
Yes.
Nothing further?
Any redirect?
No, sir.
Lawyers, may Ms. Clayton be released and excused from her subpoena. Do you want her to remain under subpoena?
No objection for her being released by the state, Your Honor.
Ms. Clegg, any
No, I
objection?
have absolutely no objection, excuse me.
All right, you're free to go. Have a good day. Have a good flight. Drive, fly safely. Call your next witness.
State calls Andrea Sneiderman, Your Honor.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you should give to the court today should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You may lower your hand, ma'am, you may be seated. And if you would, please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Ania Wysocki. It's Ennea Wysocki.
You may proceed.
Ma'am, how are you employed?
I work for Frontier Airlines.
And how long have you worked for Frontier Airlines?
Almost 13 years.
Back in 2010, in what capacity, what particular job at Frontier Airlines did you have?
I was an administrative assistant for the Customer Relations Department.
Okay, and what were your duties as an administrative assistant for the Customer Relations Department?
Mostly logging mail and running reporting, and also part of that would be providing flight records for subpoenas.
Okay. Did you have access to historical documents on behalf of airlines? Is that what you were just referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Are you authorized to testify concerning the authenticity of documents on behalf of Frontier Airlines?
Yes.
Does Frontier Airlines keep a list of individuals who flew, when they flew, and how they flew in the normal course of business?
Yes, they do.
How were these records maintained?
Electronically.
On a computer?
Yes, in a database.
Okay.
Retrievable via computer.
Who has access to these records?
Just Frontier staff.
Are these records made at or near the time of the event?
Yes.
Was Frontier Airlines asked to produce documents concerning Hemi Newman's flying on Frontier during July of 2010?
Yes, we were.
Did you in fact produce those documents?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm showing opposing counsel what's been previously marked as Dayton. Oh.
What number is this, Mr. James?
25.
Thank you. That's 25, thank you. You may approach.
Ma'am, I'm showing you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit number 25. You would read that over and see if you can identify that.
I can.
Are those the records that you were just referring to that you produced to the DA's office in DeKalb County?
Yes.
Okay. And those are records that were also kept in the regular and ordinary course of business?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, at this time I would tender State's Exhibit number 25 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, admitted without objection.
What,
You may publish it to the jury if you wish.
you can look at the documents and tell me what day that did Hemi Newman make a reservation to fly on Frontier Airlines?
The ticket was purchased on July 19th, 2010.
Around what time?
On what time? Oh, creation time 0746.
Okay.
7:46 a.m.
And can you tell us where that flight was to?
He flew from Atlanta to Denver on July 21st, 2010.
And do you know when the return date was?
The return from Denver to Atlanta was on July 23rd, 2010.
At what time?
The flight was, the return or
The return.
the return was scheduled at 6:55 p.m. local, Denver time, and it was to arrive at 11:48 p.m.
According to your records, can you tell whether or not Hemi Newman actually made those flights?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because these flight records don't actually print out at the top here until after travel is complete.
Thank you very much. Nothing further.
Mr. Morgan,
Yes, Your Honor, just a couple of questions.
ask as many as you wish.
The July 19th booking, is that an original booking or is it a change of flight? Or can you tell from those documents?
It's an original booking.
So there had been no booking prior to that time from Atlanta to Denver, on Frontier at least? I mean, what's not a change of reservation from a day before, a day
No.
before, it's original booking?
Right.
No further questions.
Any redirect? Mr. James?
If I may just have this.
You may take as much time as you need. You may proceed, Mr. James.
The flight was into Denver, I believe that was your testimony?
The original flight from Atlanta to Denver.
To Denver.
Yes.
Do you all provide a flight into Longmont?
No.
Okay, do you know if there's an airline that actually, do you know how you would get from from Denver to Longmont?
I can't say that there's a flight or not, but, I mean, I would say by car or bus or something.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Anything else on this? Defense. All right. Lawyers, may this witness be released and excused from subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You're free to go. Have a good day. Have a good flight. Drive safely to the airport. Call your next witness.
State calls Matthew Liu.
Thank you. Gesundheit. All right, sir, following the instructions of Deputy Perkins.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you should give to the court today should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
You may lower your hand, you may have a seat, sir. And if you would, please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Matthew Liu, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, last name L-E-W.
You may proceed.
Mr. Liu, how were you employed?
I'm the general manager at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Greenville, South Carolina.
And how long have you been the general manager at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Greenville, South Carolina?
For a year and a half.
Okay. Were you asked by the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office to look at some reservation information dating back to October of 2010?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you looked at that information?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us whether or not you're familiar with how the Hampton Inn keeps records of people's stay?
Yes, sir. There's a variety of ways. Basically, Hilton has a reservation system that archives any past reservation history, and we can pull that at any time.
Okay. Is it kept electronically?
Electronically, yes, sir.
All right. Is it kept in the normal and ordinary course of business?
Yes, sir.
Are the records that go on to the actual paper records that are printed out, are they made contemporaneous or at the same time that the activity is taking place?
Correct, yes, sir.
All right. Who has access to these records?
Any employee at the property level?
Does the general public have access to them?
No, sir.
All right. Your Honor, if I showing opposing counsel what's been marked State Exhibit number 26.
You may. Mayor Brooks, yes, sir.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State Exhibit number 26. If you take a look at that and tell me if you recognize that.
Yes, sir, I do.
Is that record that you're looking at, is that record kept in the regular and ordinary course of business?
Yes, sir.
Is it part of the jobs of the people that actually work at the site to maintain and make records of guest stay?
Yes, sir.
When you said the general public doesn't have access to the records that you were describing earlier, would the general public have access to that information in that record?
No, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, I would tender State's Exhibit number 26.
Any objection, Mr. Clegg?
No, Your Honor, no objection at all.
All right. It'll be admitted without objection. You may publish it to the jury if you wish.
I want to ask you specifically about the stay that's reflected on that record. Who is that reservation for?
That reservation is for a Hemi Newman.
Okay, and what are the dates on that reservation?
Check-in date was October 21st, 2010, with a checkout date of October 22nd, 2010.
All right. Does it reflect that anyone else was going to be staying there at the time, if you could look over that record?
The only thing that indicates that were the requests made by the individual requesting adjoining rooms, which insinuates that there would be an additional room or person with that guest.
Okay. When you say adjoining rooms, do you actually have the room numbers listed, or does it just say adjoining rooms?
The room number is listed on this receipt here.
Okay.
The comments are actually physically typed in based on an individual calling in to request that.
Okay. Adjoining rooms. Are adjoining rooms just next to one another, or do they actually adjoin, meaning that there's a door between the two that leads from one room to the other?
They are side-by-side rooms, but it does mean that they do have a room that does connect the two directly inside both rooms. So they can go, from one room to another.
If you may have just a second.
You may.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
It says connecting rooms up there. Does the word connecting and adjoining, is that the same thing?
Same exact terminology, yes, sir.
Mr. Clegg?
I'll be very brief, Your Honor.
I'll ask as many questions as you wish.
Can't think of that many to ask. Were you working there back in August, or not August, but October of 2010, sir?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay, and what was your function or responsibility at that time?
I was the assistant general manager.
And what does the assistant general manager, what sort of responsibilities would you have in that position?
In that position, basically, I would be responsible for all internal policies and procedures from our management company, as well as the Hampton brand, ensuring that all standards are followed and that we remain compliant with all standards put forth by the Hampton Inn. In addition to that, responsible for all paperwork, accounting, internal records, hiring, firing, training, just about everything.
Okay. Now, you made reference to that there was a request, presumably from Mr. Newman, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
To have adjoining rooms, correct?
Yes, sir.
Rooms is plural, right?
Correct.
2 rooms or more.
Correct.
There was not a request for only 1 room, was there?
No, sir.
Did you ever have contact with Hemi Newman at or about that time that you recall?
No, sir.
Did you ever have contact with Andrea Sneiderman at or about that time, if you recall?
No, sir.
Do you recall specifically what rooms they would have been in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what rooms were those, sir?
Room 612 and room 614.
Now, how many stories are there in the Hampton Inn?
At our property, there's 6 floors.
6 floors. So they were on the top floor, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
The lobby to the hotel is on what floor?
First floor.
Okay. Is it difficult for an individual, if they so desire, to walk out of their room and go into the room next door?
Can you repeat that? I apologize.
If you're in room 612 and you want to walk over to a different room, what do you have to do?
Walk out your door and knock on the next one?
That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
And because it would have been on the 6th floor, people who are, is there a restaurant in the hotel, by the way?
No, sir.
Okay. People who would have been down in the lobby area or would have been checking in would not be privy to the fact that you were going from one room to another. Is that correct?
Can you
You would
repeat?
not be aware of the fact that you were going, people downstairs wouldn't know if somebody on the 6th floor went from one room to another, right?
Unless they saw them.
Okay. Did you have occasion to, it was 6:00,
612 and 614
did you go to 612 at any point?
in my.
No, during this period, on October 21st or October 22nd?
I couldn't tell you one way or another if I did or did not.
Okay. Did you go to room 614 on those same days?
I could not tell you one way or another.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else. Thank you very much.
Have you ever been to those rooms?
Yes.
If the rooms are connecting, just so I understand you correctly, it means that you can travel from one room to the other room without going outside.
That's correct.
Right. And to follow up on what Mr. Clegg asked you, that would mean that people, other guests at the hotel would not be able to see the guest in room 612 and 614 going from one room to the other room, correct?
Correct.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any recross, Mr. Clegg?
1 minute
You
here.
may.
No questions, Your Honor.
Lawyers, may this witness, Mr. Liu, be released and excused, Mr. Spina?
Yes, sir.
Any objection?
No, sir, not at all.
You may come down, have a safe trip back to South Carolina.
Thank you, sir.
You're released.
Does anybody need this?
No, leave the exhibits. No, you can go, but leave the documents unless you want to come back. All right, lawyers, I'm gonna give you a little bit earlier break. This is our first break of the morning, because there's still some challenges with some of the equipment. It won't be a long break, I'll give you a little bit extra time. It'll be in the neighborhood of 12 minutes, 12 minutes. All right. Maybe see you.